Good afternoon, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome to the second episode of our Draconic Evolution how-to video. I don't know why it keeps disappearing. Anyway, so last episode we began talking about kind of the basics of the mod and covering the tools and how to set those up. Now, one thing that I did forget to mention last episode is how to actually get your Awakened Draconium, because if you click on the ingot here, you'll notice that the only way to craft it is either with nuggets or with a block of Awakened Draconium, and there's no recipe for how to get it. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get yourself some charged Draconium blocks. The ritual that you're going to have to do, you can use either 1 to 4 of these. Now, I would suggest you always use 4 of these and get the most out of it. But if you can't pull it off or something, you can do it with even just 1 charged Draconium block. You're also going to need a dragon heart. 1 will be enough for 1 to 4 of these. That's why I suggest you use 4 to get the most out of your ritual. And then you're also going to need to get yourself some Draconic cores. Now, the way this works is you are going to use 4 cores per charged Draconium block that you use. And basically for each of these charged Draconium blocks, you're going to get 1 block of the Awakened Draconium. So, since we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and go for the max efficiency, we're going to go ahead and do 4. So we're going to need 16 Draconic cores. And then the last thing that you're going to need is you're just going to want to get something to blow up some TNT with, and then of course a block of TNT. I should have got it in any eye. It works better. It's quicker. So what you're going to do is you're going to set down your TNT and then throw your dragon heart there right next to it, and then just light your TNT to activate it. After it explodes, you'll notice that the dragon heart starts to kind of spin around. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw our 16 Draconic cores out there, and you'll notice it sucks all the items up, and then quickly place your charged Draconium blocks, and you'll notice that it'll start spinning and spewing kind of like this magic power into those blocks. So we'll give it just a second here. And there we go. Now there's 4 blocks of Awakened Draconium. And like I said, the most you're going to be able to do with this ritual is 4 at a time, between 1 and 4. So any other charged Draconium that you put down isn't going to change into Awakened Draconium. So that's basically how to get your Awakened Draconium. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about this episode is some of the machines and stuff that are added, because there's a lot of basic machines. There's also some more advanced ones like the power storage. Oh, now it's not doing that that bug that it was doing. Okay, it seems like the bug where it adds additional lists is whenever you open it multiple times in the same session, it looks like. Because now we've got 3. So, okay. But the first machine that I want to cover is the weather controller, and we'll just kind of go in order here. So the weather controller, what you'll need is you're going to want some emeralds and then this weather controller block. So if you put this down, and you'll notice in here there's like a little GUI in here, so we're going to put our emeralds in there, and for each emerald that you put in you get 10 charges. So we can set it to turn the rain on, and then all we have to do is apply a redstone signal to this to activate it. And it'll spew all those like crazy flames into the air, and you notice now it starts raining. And then what we could do is we could set it to, say, thunderstorm. And give it a redstone signal. Okay, maybe we have to turn the rain off. That's possible. So we'll hit that, turn the rain off. You may not be able to turn on a thunderstorm during a rainstorm. And so now we've gotten rid of the rain, and then we could say a thunderstorm. Give it a redstone signal. And now it's going to start up a thunderstorm for us, which would be kind of nice. One thing that you could use this with is, for example, immersive engineering as the lightning rods that have a chance to get struck when there's a lightning storm, and being able to turn on a lightning storm at command would be kind of efficient for getting a big source of power, because thunderstorms aren't the most common thing in the world to just happen by default. Now, another thing that you could do with this is there is actually, if I can find it here, let me see, believe it has it in this mod. Yeah, right there. Rain sensor. Here it is. So there's this rain sensor, and we could put this on top of there and have it set to turn the rain off. So if it did start raining, you'll notice it'll immediately, what it does is it's going to emit a redstone signal when it starts sensing rain, and it's going to immediately kick on the weather controller and kick the rain off. So you could have it automatically get rid of the rain anytime that it rains in your single player world. So kind of a really nice block to have, and it's fairly cheap. I mean, 1 emerald is going to get you 10 charges, so your emeralds are going to go pretty far with that if you don't like the rain. If you're like me, the rain kind of gets on my nerves from time to time. So next up, let's talk about the sundial, which is kind of similar, but in a sense, to giving you control over the time and everything. What you can do is you can give it a redstone signal, and it's going to take a second to charge up, and now you'll notice that time is going extremely fast. And this is going to just run until you shut it off. So, say we want it to be midnight, do our division sigil ritual. There we go, we can kick it off at right about midnight. And anytime that we want to start it back up, we can do that, and once again, affect the time. And what it does is it basically speeds up time 30 times the normal speed. And there we go. And one thing that I believe is actually possible with this, let's get ourselves this is actually something I've never tested before, but just now dawned on me that might work actually. Oh, where are they at? There they are, Ender Core. And then we'll get some Ender Lily seeds. If I can find them here. We'll just do that. So if we were to, say, set up a nice Ender Lily farm, because if you're, if you know, or if you're aware of this, Ender Lily seeds, for example, if you were to use bone meal on them, they actually go back a stage, and their growth rate is based on the sun and moon rotation. So if we were to activate this and give it a second to kind of run through this, it should actually speed up the growth rate of these. And if we were to get a watering can, because you can actually use watering cans on them, but they're limited to 1 growth rate per day, I think it is. So let's see. I'm actually going to cut camera for just a second while I let this run, because it is going to take it a second, to run through all this. And I'll be back once I find out if this actually works or not. Okay, welcome back. This does actually work. So when you set up these and have it speed up the cycle of day and night, it does speed up your Ender Lily growth rate so that you could produce more Ender Lilies. And you'll notice it's moving extremely fast. I actually just tested it and discovered that you can stack these. and have multiples of them running, and each one that you add increases the speed at which it changes between day and night. So if we were to say throw down more of these, it would make that faster. But I feel like, I don't know, something about just the sound of it is terrible. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these really quick, and we'll shut that off. So if you don't have a lot of Ender Lily seeds and you want to increase your growth rates, because they can only get like 1 tick per like day cycle or something like that, but using that you can cycle through the days extremely fast, and there's no power requirement or anything to running this sundial. So it's just a redstone pulse and it's going to go. So you know, definitely something nice to build, and it is fairly easy to create. So if you look here, oh no, you'll need a dragon egg. Whoops. I was thinking of something else. So you're going to need awakened cores, draconic cores, and these dragon eggs. But of course, you in a modded Minecraft, you can make that if you get into magical bees and have multiples of those running, and thus increase the rate at which your ender lilies grow. So definitely something nice to at least give thought to. So next up, and sorry about that, I just never thought about testing it with ender lily seeds, but it does seem to work. Next up, we'll talk about the charms of dislocation. So you have this charm of dislocation, and then you have the enhanced charm of dislocation. So the basic one is just Eye of Ender, some Draconium dust, and blaze powder. And the enhanced one is you're going to need a wyvern core, so you're going to have to kill the wither, and then just a basic one, some ender pearls, and some Draconium ingots. And the way these work is we could fly, let's say, we'll shift right click right here, and it's going to mark this spot. And then if we fly out here, right click, it's going to teleport us back. Now this thing does take damage if I'm not in creative mode. So you'll notice it does take a little bit of damage. I think you get like 16 uses or something with one of these before it breaks. Now the enhanced one is a little bit different. It's not going to take any durability damage. However, it does require ender pearls as a fuel source. So what we could do is we can shift, just right click, and you can say add fuel, and it's going to take ender pearls from your inventory and add them as a fuel. And then what we can do is we can say add new, and we can say, we're going to call it here, and say commit, and it's going to mark that spot. And then if we come over here, come over here, and then shift right click, and we can add another one and say there, and commit. And then what we can do is we can select which one is active. So we're going to set here as active, and if we right click it, it just brings us back over to there. And then of course we can shift right click and change it to there, and there we go. And this thing will consume 1 ender pearl per teleport. And it can store up, I believe it's like 200 different teleports that you can store, and then of course you can lock these so that you're not able to rename or move the location of the teleport, by accident or anything. Now another thing that you can do with the teleporting system is you can make these dislocator pedestals, and so we could set one up here, and we could set another one up right there, and then what we could do is select a location, say we're going to say there, and then we can just right click it onto this pedestal, and it's going to display the name of the location that it would teleport us to, and then if we right click on it, it's just going to teleport us over to where that teleport was. And then you can also do the same thing with the charm of dislocation. We can come over here, we can shift right click and set a location for our teleport, and then right click on this, and it's going to teleport us. Now you'll notice that this one will display the name of that is listed in the charm, and we can shift right click to get it back off, by the way, but it's going to display the name that that you put within this GUI, whereas this one's not displaying a name. But what you can do is you can get yourself an anvil, And once you got that, you can just throw this in here and you can rename it, say, Super Cool Telly. And we'll grab that. And now if we were to set this in there, it will display the name. So you can actually use these, and the nice thing is they're in this one's case, it's not going to consume any fuel when you teleport, and this one is not going to take any durability damage when you teleport. However, these dislocator pedestals, they're fairly cheap, but of course you're going to have to make multiples of these charms, but it is, honestly, it's worth making these pedestals to use for teleporting, because you're never going to have to worry about fuel or about durability damage. The only thing is it's not portable. So I tend to keep one of these that I have that's portable, and then I have ones maybe set up in the base and stuff for teleports. And while we're talking about teleports, let's go ahead and cover the teleporter frames from this mod as well. So it adds this Draconium infused obsidian that you craft with just obsidian, blaze powder, and Draconium dust. And then it also adds these dislocator receptacles that take the infused Draconium, dislocator pedestals, and Draconic cores. And the way these things work is you can set these up. It's pretty much a free-form size kind of a thing. So we could set up a 1x1 and put a receptacle in there. And let's grab a couple of these, and we'll just set them like this one will be right here. And then we can come over here to the receptacle, right-click that Charm of Dislocation onto there, and then if we just jump in the portal, it's going to teleport us. And you can make these standing up, you can make them laying down, and you can actually make the portal size anywhere between 1 and 150 blocks in size. So if you wanted to, you could make just a massive portal of any size or shape. So we could, for example, we could do something like this and have, you can just set the receptacle anywhere except for the corners. We come over here and shift right click this, right click it onto there, and now we have this big long portal. And like I said, it can be anywhere between 1 and 150 blocks in each direction. So these things can be massive, and I believe, yeah, it does teleport items and entities as well. And it doesn't take any kind of power or anything, so they are kind of nice to set up and everything. And the teleportation is fairly instant. I mean, it's not going to have the charge up time like the nether portals do. So definitely worth looking into. And the nice thing is this dislocator receptacle, you can actually pump your charms in and out of this. So if you wanted to automate it so that if you pulled this switch, you're going to go to the nether. If you pulled this one, you're going to go to the end. You could do that with one portal. So it's actually a very, very nice block, for teleportation and everything. So the next item that I want to talk about is the mob grinder. So this is like your standard mob grinder. And if we give this thing power, you'll notice the front here is where the damage is going to come from. And do be aware that if you stand in front of this, I believe, sometimes it's hurt me, but that might not. It hurt me in Sky Factory in one episode, but maybe it doesn't want to in this pack. I don't know, because we're on crack pack right now. But the front side here is where the damage is going to come from, where the skull is. And basically this thing will instantly kill any entities that get in front of it. So if we were to grab, say, spawn a creeper, we'll spawn a, let me see here, there's a villager. Then we can also do the same with the wither. Isn't there a spawner for the wither, or is there not? I don't think there is, actually. So let me get some soul sand. This is actually the grinder that I use for for automating the wither. If we were to say spawn a creeper, you'll notice that he dies as soon as he comes out. Oh wait, that's because it's on peaceful. And you'll notice he gets killed as soon as he comes out, and the items are just dropped on the ground. So then you could just use a vacuum chest or anything to pick them up. Villagers are also killed, so any kind of even passive creatures are murdered. And then if we were to, say, summon the wither here, and let him kind of spawn up, you'll notice that he will get killed as soon as he spawns, which is extremely useful for a wither farm. And you notice that he was murdered. And this block is completely wither-proof, so setting it up for a wither farm works perfectly. The explosion from the wither is not going to affect this block. So generally the best advice I can give on a wither farm is combine this with a long line, one by one wide of the dark steel fences from Ender.io, and then you have a completely wither-proof spawning area that instantly kills the wither. Now this thing does require a nether star to create, so let me pull it up here. Oh no, it doesn't. It does in some packs, but it doesn't in this. So there you go. So you could actually kill the wither instantly with this thing. You'll just need the Draconic core, which is fairly easy to make. In a lot of packs, this does it is changed to take a wyvern core, like Sky Factory's that way, for example. But in Crack Pack, that is not the case. So the next item that I want to cover is the Draconic chest. Now this chest is probably the best chest that you will ever come across. To craft it, it does take a little bit of Draconium, a little bit of the obsidian chests, Draconic core furnaces, and crafting tables. But if we were to set this up, you'll notice that it has a massive storage space, one of the largest. It's like, I believe, 240 slots that this holds. It also has an RF-based smelter, so if this has RF power connected to it, you'll notice this is filling up. And we could take, let's get ourselves some Draconic dust. And this will smelt for us and output into this chest. And it can hold up to 5 different items. You can set it to keep current stacks full, which will be like an auto feed if it's connected to, say, like an AE system or something. Or, I'm sorry, this is for the furnace part. So, what you could do is, let me grab some wood here. I was thinking of something else there. So let's grab a bit of this. And if we were to go ahead and smelt one of these, and we're going to set it to fill. And you could do all, so it could pull anything that could be smelted from its inventory. But what we could do is we could throw a bit of that in there. And since we have it set to fill, it's going to automatically fill that spruce and keep filling it until it runs out of spruce. And it does run extremely fast, if you notice. So actually with a charcoal farm, if you can craft this, with some kind of a wood farm, you can create an immense amount of charcoal fairly quickly and not actually requiring that much RF. If we remove that, you'll notice it's slowly going down, but it is smelting 5 at a time. So, very, very powerful smelter. Then you also have a built-in crafting table here, and you can set this so that any items that are being inserted into this go into the last 5 slots and are locked in there, and just a lot of really nice customization especially for a chest. Very, very powerful chest to use. And by the way, pretty much everything in this mod also does have computer craft versatility. I'm not personally very good with computer craft, but if you are, you can use that to your advantage when setting a lot of this stuff up. And another thing that I want to cover, the potentiometer, by the way, let's pull that up here somewhere. right here. You can set it to emit different signals. So if we were to, say, set up this potentiometer, we can right-click to increase the redstone power that's coming out of it. So it's similar to the, if you've ever seen, I use the Bibliocraft bookcases to set a certain redstone signal. This, you can shift right-click to go down and drop the power on that as well. So it's a nice alternative to that method. There is also the admin dislocator, I believe, is just for admins, if I recall. I don't even know that it's in this book here. No. Anyway, there's also a spawner that is present in this mod. Actually, let me see. Yeah, we're going to cover that in another episode because there's actually a lot to that, because you can upgrade it and stuff through different stages. Like, for example, if we pull this up right here, the stabilized mob spawner, well, I guess we could set it up because it's pretty much right here. What you can do is you can set any kind of mob soul into this. So to craft this, you're just going to use, you're going to use a mob soul on just a spawner. So let me grab just a broken spawner, right? Wait a second. One second. Okay, that's right. So the way this works is, let me grab, say, we've got an Ender Mini spawner. And then what we would do is, it's been a little while since I've messed with these. You just get yourself some Draconic cores, and if you were to be out in the world and you found a monster spawner, you can just go up and right-click it with this, and you'll stabilize it. And let me go into, let me get one of these really quick. So now that we've stabilized it, we can just pick this thing up, and we've got a stabilized mob spawner. And we can move it, you know, just wherever. And then what we can do is use any kind of a mob soul and right-click it on there, and it's going to start spawning whatever creature that we've put in there. And there's also upgrades for this. So really quickly, we'll go over the upgrades that you can add to a spawner. Go to game mode C, actually. The first up is the Wyvern core. It's going to upgrade up to a tier 2. And so if we were to grab one of these, you can upgrade this, and now it's a tier 2, and it's going to create creatures faster. So let me add pig spawns to this. And it'll take just a second to get started. Can't remember, does this thing require power? I believe it does. No? No. Okay. So, but that's going to increase the spawn rate of this. To get the tier 3, you're going to need an awakened core, which once again increases your spawn count and speed. So if we just right click that on there, it'll start spawning 3 at a time and spawning quite a bit faster. For the tier 4, or basically a tier 4, you can add a nether star to this. And basically all that's going to do is that's going to remove the need for you to be near this for it to work. And we should, there we go. Okay, it's got nether star on there. And then lastly, you can add a notch apple, and it's going to ignore any spawn requirements. So if the light level, you know, say it's zombies, it doesn't matter if it's bright light or not, they're still going to keep spawning. And if you break it, you're going to get back all the items that you used to upgrade it, as well as the stabilized spawner. The only thing that you will not get back is the mob soul. So really quickly, while we're talking about it, since we haven't talked about mob souls yet, basically any mob in the game pretty much can drop a mob soul, and they are fairly rare. I believe base, it's only like a 1 in 2,000 chance that you're going to get one. And it can only... They're jumping in the portal and getting teleported. It can only occur naturally while using draconic weapons. So using a diamond sword or something, you're not going to be able to get mob souls. However, there is a reaping enchant that you can get. You can actually get it naturally when you're enchanting, say, swords and stuff. And it can range from 1 to 5. And the higher the enchant level, of course, the higher chance you're going to have of getting a mob soul. And basically they're going to look kind of like this. There's going to be a miniature of the creature that the soul is, and it's going to be kind of spinning around. And if you have a tier 5 Reaper enchant on your weapons, I believe it's like a 1 in 200 chance that you'll get a mob soul. So it's still fairly uncommon. They're not very common at all. But getting that reaping enchant is definitely worth it for that. So next up, the last thing that I really want to cover this episode is the player detectors, as well as I should probably talk about the generator as well. The generator is fairly basic. It's just your standard generator, and you can throw coal in there and or any kind of burnable substance and get power, and it's about 80 RF per tick that it's going to create. So you'll notice it's going up, but it does have 100,000 internal storage, which is kind of nice for an early level generator. And if you notice, just some nether bricks, draconic cores, and iron furnaces. Not the cheapest thing in the world, but it's not terribly expensive either. So just a nice little early game power source. And then lastly are the 2 player detectors. So they're really similar to normal player detectors. Basically they're going to emit a signal. And let's put a string of redstone here. So basically anytime that a player comes near, if you notice as I get closer, it's going to activate. I believe it's like let me see, I believe it's like a 5 block range for the basic one. And sorry I have to check this thing from time to time, but there's a lot that's added with this mod. So yeah, it's a range of 10 blocks that it's going to detect players. However, the advanced player detector is a whole lot nicer. It works in about a 20 block range, and you can set the range up here, up to 20. You can camouflage it. So say we wanted it to look like an ender core. Now it looks like an ender core. So we can hide it from people. You can blacklist people. So if I put my name on here, enter. And let's pull off the camouflage. You'll notice that now it's not going to emit a signal when I get close to it. You can invert the output so that when we... Let's remove my name. So if you notice, it's activated right now, but it's not emitting a redstone signal. And if I can get far enough back here, yeah, there it goes. It'll start emitting a signal when there's no player in there, in range. So it's kind of a nice player detector, especially the advanced one, because you can kind of customize it and everything to your liking. And I believe, we'll talk about the box of safety matches really, really quick. So basically, normally if I had, let's get some, oops. Let's get some wood. and some other wood, and then some netherrack. So basically, generally, if I was to light a fire, it would of course burn my house down. So if I have a bunch of wood here, and say I wanted to build a little fireplace like right here or something, and I have some other kinds of wood just to show you that it works. We'll put that over there. And I was going to light a fire here. It would burn down the, you know, the, all the wood and everything. Oh. That's activating. Of course it is. However, if we use this box of safety matches, it's going to create a fire that does not spread. And you can set this pretty much on any surface. And you'll notice it doesn't really go out. Which is kind of nice. You can just kind of, you can build like braziers and stuff without the need for netherrack, and it's also not going to burn down any structures that you build out of wood and stuff around it. So just a nice little block that's added by the mod. And I do believe, yeah, I think that's all we're going to cover this episode. Yeah. Next episode, we will get into some of the more advanced aspects of Draconic Evolution, namely Chaos Shards, resurrecting the Ender Dragon, the Power Storage Multi-Block, and the Reactor, which are both kind of more advanced. It may be 2 episodes, maybe, but we'll see. There's actually a lot in this mod and a lot to cover. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. I hope you're finding it helpful, at least in some aspect. You know, this pretty much covers the basic blocks of the mod that are a little bit easier to use. Also, before I forget, one thing to note, if you have this mod installed, make sure that when you're in the nether, you do not eat pork. Basically, right down here, this Pigman Blood Rage, if you're in the nether and you eat pork, it's pretty much the equivalent of attacking a pigman. So just keep that in mind when you're playing with this mod. Also, another thing worth noting is, let's go in here to controls really quick. Normally it's going to be P, but we're going to change it over just because we've got a bunch of crap arguing with it. Basically, this mod allows you to place any items with from the game just on the ground or on whatever surface you want. So we could put a awakened core, 64 of those on the ground, and it is going to use whatever stacks that you have. So if we were to break that up, we could put one at a time on there. You can also put them on like ceilings on the bottoms of blocks. We can put them here, or here, or here, or here, or here, anything. Basically any block, we can place that down. So just a nice little side note there, that you can just freely put those blocks down. And then also, if you shift right click this, you can kind of rotate it a little bit at a time and just freely rotate it. And then of course you can break it and get your stuff back. So or right click it and get your stuff back, either one. But anyway, that's just another little side feature of the mod. So anyway, I think that's going to be it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, as always, please comment, like, subscribe. It's very, very much appreciated. And I hope you guys join me for next episode. Next episode, we'll be looking at some more, some advanced features of the mod that are definitely worth checking out. And this area looks like a damn war zone. After playing with this mod, there's just fire and explosions everywhere. But anyway, I hope you guys found this helpful. I honestly didn't realize that the time change thing would work with the Ender Lily seeds, but it did seem to work very, very great. And I also didn't realize that they could be stacked to have multiple effects. Of course, it's not too common that you're going to get multiple dragon eggs. However, if you are on a server, they tend to reset the Ender Dragon, at least the servers that I've been on, fairly regularly. And you'll keep getting dragon eggs. So then again, though, on a server, you're probably going to have that block disabled. So it's kind of you know, it's kind of going to balance out probably then. You're not going to be able to do that. But you could always use magic bees or something to get you multiple dragon eggs. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to end the episode there. Hope you guys join me for the next one. And until then, do take care, and I hope to see you guys then.